Yo.
Yo. Oh, whoa. Hey, yo. Oh,
What's good?
whoa.
What's good?
Yo, we back. We made it.
We are back, man. It's your boy Dallas President.
It's your boy Jay all day, no days off.
Yeah, man. Episode 8.
Episode
Season
8.
2.
Great. Don't be late.
Beyond the Mic Live, man.
Yo, we did it.
We have done it again.
We're live.
We've taken some time off, but we're back.
Yeah, we're here.
We're back. Had a busy week.
We're trying to find some good news to give them. It's been wild in the news.
There's been a lot of things going on. We had an eventful weekend this weekend.
Yes, we did.
We brought back the First Friday house party.
Shout out to First Friday, you know what I'm saying?
We done that and
First Friday King over here. That was like number 70?
it feels like it. It was probably like number 30.
A lot. Number a lot.
Something like that. Maybe
30?
number 30, maybe.
We took a break in January.
We took a break. Well, we had one.
No, we
just didn't do the official,
Yeah.
the big sheboing like we usually
Pause.
do.
I don't feel like that goes in the sentence at all. But whatever. That's like neither here nor there.
But yeah, we had a good weekend. Brought back the house party. Had a good turnout. Steezy performed. Not Steezy DMB. Don't get him confused.
No, Little Brody. The Little Bro.
Steezy, from Richmond
Came out and represented.
He came out.
No, he didn't.
Pause. He came out and performed.
Shout out to
brought a lot
Lil
of
Bro
folks.
Steve.
Yeah, brought a lot of folks with him.
He did. He actually, he put on a great set. His set was awesome, man.
It was a dope set. You can tell people missed the First Friday house party, so it was good to bring it back.
Yes,
It was dope
there was people
vibes.
outside again. Like, it's cool to see people outside when they shut this. They do the whole what they do down there.
Oh yeah, what's the I can't remember what they call it.
The Super Bowl, but soup. It was about soup.
It was about soup, but they got the little outdoor. So here in Old Town, you can drink outside. If you
they
have
shut the
like
streets
a
down and they
cut
can
from
walk.
a business.
Yeah.
Participate in business. So yeah, it was dope to see everybody back outside.
Because all we got is painful memories from the last time that we was outside for First Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Well, oh yeah, my finger, man. Was that the last time?
Yeah, it was Fingergate.
Fingergate.
Pause.
It's mad funny. But nah, yeah, man. So we back. We kind of took a day off on Saturday.
Yeah, we did.
Well deserved.
It was a rough day. I mean, Friday was a long night, bro.
Friday was a long night and morning.
Mm-hmm.
But then Sunday, of course, we had the Super
Turned
Bowl.
into another long night and morning as well.
Another long night and morning. We had the Super Bowl Sunday party, which is our fourth year.
Yo, shout out to us.
celebrating
Humbly
Super Bowl
speaking,
here
we're
at
like
the
pretty
Haven.
good at this.
Definitely was a dope vibe. We had a lot of the friends and fam here. It wasn't too
definitely.
many people, but the vibe was amazing, man.
No, it was definitely friends and family.
The game was,
No, we were literally asking ourselves, yo, is this like the highest score ever? Like, yo, are they gonna skunk? Like, yo, there was a lot, bro. And we're gonna cover that for them, right? I feel like we got a lot of
cover
Super
the
Bowl.
games. The game, obviously gonna cover that halftime show.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, that's
Drake.
It's a lot of our show today. But yeah, before we get,
We got a guest with
I'm
us
about
too,
to say,
right?
Before we get into that,
Oh, fancy
we're
jacket head
joined-
ass nigga.
we're joined today by a special guest. We'll let him introduce himself. He's been
sir.
here. He's been here before.
He's a friend of the show.
He's a friend of the show. It's not his first time. He's true to this, not new to this. But give it up one time for.
Did you just call him
brother.
a nudist, manito?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
But give it up one time for our brother Petey, man, in the building.
Happy to be here. It's Paper Plane Pete. Happy to be here. I think it's my second time here.
Yeah.
I did, I think one of the, as soon as you guys started, maybe one of the first ones.
Facts.
Yeah, it was one of the earlier
Tobes
It's-
from Thrift
yeah.
Fam Tobes. Yeah, shout out
Funny,
to Tobes.
matter of fact, that was the last time we had this set up.
No,
'Cause
we literally, you're right, 100%.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No,
'cause I
but
did
it
not
was
do that
like
on
more
purpose.
death defying last time because it felt like we were on like a tightrope or something, right? Because we had the stage.
Oh, facts. Yeah.
But I've been staying updated. I've been watching all the episodes. I love seeing the growth.
Pause.
I love seeing the growth. I love seeing how like Jay's actually watching the news and stuff now, and he's actually staying well informed now that he's retired. Like
I don't got no intern anymore.
Because the dementia starts around this H unless you keep the mind
have
active.
to turn his mic off.
Unless you keep your mind active. This is exactly what the dementia starts.
Yo, bro, I do Sudoku.
So Dallas, I really appreciate you keeping
my
boy's mind sharp.
I do Sudoku. Nigga. I do Sudoku, nigga. You already know I'm old. I'm already forgetting words.
He's doing the Wordle every morning.
I'm losing my thinking
Wordle
words.
is crazy. Nah, it's been fun keeping it going, man.
Nah, I mean, I think we enjoy doing the show and we always try to put on deliver a good product, So
And for who doesn't know, this is not Jay's first podcast.
Don't come on, man.
This is Jay. Jay is very seasoned in the podcast realm. We did Talking Terps for many years.
It's a
long time before he retired.
Say Drake. But yeah, shout out to little bro Petey in the building. So he's basically gonna be our co-host for the whole episode. So he's gonna be chiming in on the stuff we're covering. And like I said, we got an amazing show lined up for the people. We got to talk about the Trump craziness, and it's gonna be Super Bowl, and maybe we do some bowls. It just depends.
Hey.
No pressure here.
No pressure, man.
No pressure here. It's a safe space.
That it is.
It's a safe space.
So yeah, we're gonna jump into a quick break real quick, man. We'll be right back.
Yo, the best break takers in the game.
It's your boy Dallas President.
It's your boy Jay all day, and we got the fam with us right now to let them know who you are, Brody.
Paper Plane Pete, Petey Pessimist, you know the vibes.
You heard the man. Paper Planes. Let's go.
We'll be right back. It's Beyond the Mic.
Yo, we back. We made it. We alive.
We back, man.
Yo, did you mute Petey's mic for that disrespect earlier?
Nah, he good. He's still alive. But yeah, man, it's your boy Dallas President.
It's your boy Jay all day, no days off, and we got our fam with us in the building.
Petey Kerr, Paper Plane Pete.
Keeps changing his name.
He does, but it's cool. It's
Yo,
cool.
he's like a spy. But
Yeah,
yo,
it's 2025, man. You can only go by one name.
And you can only use one
It's your
bathroom.
birth name. Whatever's on your...
One name, one pronoun. That's,
you don't
that's
got
about
no
it
more
goes.
choices of
There's no
bathrooms,
such thing
people.
as pronouns
They
now.
ain't- they not know
It's
what you-
irrelevant.
They know he,
This
him.
is Trump's America.
They know he, him, they, die, nigga.
Nah, it's just you.
This
It's
is
just you.
Trump's America.
So
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
we got
Speaking of,
we got to do this, don't we?
we need to come up with a song for this segment
For Trump's America,
for Trump's America.
we gotta make our own, because if not, we'll get warned.
It could be like a rendition of the YMCA John. We could do that.
That doesn't get more.
We
Like,
could do the dance.
that doesn't get
That's
more.
your favorite dance.
No, it is my dance.
It
I
is your
hate
favorite. Dun, 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 dun.
Yo, he's a
All
dick,
right.
but his dance moves is
There we
impeccable.
go.
Facts, yeah.
They're gonna hate
As
it.
much as I'd like to see Trump jerk or do the Dougie. Like,
No, they're gonna hate us for that.
Yo, imagine if you see Trump get sturdy though.
I can see that.
shit-
AI with AI, anything is possible, bro.
Yo, they're gonna do it. They just stole our idea.
That wig gonna fall off.
Not here in Trump's America though.
I mean,
Yo,
he's
just
doing
so
a lot,
much, man.
Yeah, he's doing a lot.
I'm like, bro, my daughter comes to visit. Shout out to my baby girl Jayla. She came to visit me this weekend, and we have this thing where we go and we have like a daddy-daughter date, and we just catch up and talk about life. And so she's talking about the whole this guy stuff, and she's like so stressed out about him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so I can only imagine, man, like how everyone else feels. You know what I'm talking about?
What's been her biggest concern or issue?
Well, it's just the lunacy of it all. Like she's such a rational young lady. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's nothing rational about what's happening like day to day. And then every day you wake up and there's some new shit. So the best advice I could give her was like, yo, whatever, it's fucked up. But I grew up in a fucked up environment, and you got to make the best of it. Basically, like you can't let like whatever feelings or anxiety you're dealing with like stop you from living your life. 'Cause you can't live in fear, right? So just
Right.
live your life, the best you can.
Where did she get her political like ideologies from? Is it you, her mom? Or was it college? Like
Well, no,
her own or
Like my house was is a very divided house.
how so?
In political party. So, my brother-in-law, God rest his soul, he was a
R.I.P.
Trump guy, you know what I'm saying? And, my family has, historically been Democrat. So, like, it's always been a debate in my house. And she's an intellectual, you know what I mean?
What about your wife?
Oh, she voted for Kamala.
Okay, so she's on. So her parents are on the.
They follow the son. This is Korean family. The firstborn son is the king of the universe.
He was the older.
They follow his lead. So then, even like in football team, right? Like my brother-in-law, again, God rest his soul, he was a Cowboys fan. And like I never judged him for it. You know what I'm saying? Like
that must have been tough.
But then my father-in-law's a diehard Skins fan.
Yeah.
So like, imagine that. And then my brother-in-law went to UVA. And then my wife was Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
So my house is a divided household. You know what I'm talking about? So like, I like having these conversations with my daughter because, again, like I said, she's an intellectual. And I like talking to smart people.
And that creates the most informed children, right? If you just live in a house where it's just straight Republicans, right? That, hate
indoctrination.
The left. Yeah, they hate the left.
Yeah.
They're not going to learn about all the stuff that the left is, right? And vice versa.
No, you're supposed to deliver both sides of a story. And that's why in America we're dealing with such a skewed view, right? Like,
And I bet Jayla realized very early that, like, absolutely neither side is right.
No, I preached that to her
100%.
like her whole life. Like, yo, baby girl, you got to pick one of the two, but, two wings, same bird. It's the same shit.
So when you say, and I like what you said, how, like, neither side is right. So do you feel like the importance is teaching the better of two evils as opposed to right and wrong these days? Because there used to be a time, I feel like, in politics, for me, like thinking back in the 90s where there was like obviously what
clearly
was
defined
good and what was bad. But now I feel like after that whole era of alternative facts and, what I'm saying, that's how all this fact checking shit first started, because people were running with the alternative facts. It's like, what's an alternative fact? It's either up is up and down is down, and that's so it.
No, but not
but now it's
world.
Like, well, no, and I always hated the alternative facts argument. But one thing I will say is, like, I feel like if you equate it to something like racism, right? It does cut, like, in what you would think in modern times, what right is right and wrong is wrong in terms of that.
Because you was raised right. You're like a decent human.
And that's where I'm going with it. What if you weren't raised right to where your moral right is a contradiction of what someone else's, right is? You know what I'm saying?
It speaks to the indoctrination.
Right. So it's like, I get like a fact is a fact, but like what happens when your facts are based on a book that's not necessarily right? And who determines what's
that's
right?
That's not even written.
Right.
And I guess the biggest flaw in the system is we live in a democracy and everybody's like, yo, that's the way to go. Everything should be a democracy. The people get to decide. Mm-hmm. But realistically, we don't live in a democracy. We live in a representative democracy, right? We don't vote on how much money is going to go into the roads compared to the schools, compared to Social Security or whatever.
It ain't itemized.
Yeah,
your taxes ain't itemized.
Yeah, your taxes are not itemized. Also, the laws that are passed are not itemized, right? We vote for a person, and they're going to go and decide what's going to happen.
100%.
Which means we have to take a sheet of paper. There's a picture drawn on this piece of paper, and we have to color this entire paper the exact same color, right? And that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
Now, that's not completely 100% true. We all go and vote. Obviously, you're voting for a candidate, but then there's those three things at the bottom saying that the state of Virginia wants to build a road over here and they need $500,000 or $2 million.
Like
are you willing to, like, do you think they should do that? And you hit yes or no. Yeah. So there is a couple laws like that, but for the most part, we're electing an official and they're deciding everything. Yeah. And this isn't like most of us who are moderate human beings, where we want marijuana legalized, but maybe we also don't want schools to like have all the money and not decide where they're going to put it or something like that.
Or use it properly.
Right? Where Republicans maybe work a little harder and like look at where money's going. And I'd rather have that, but I also, if you want to be like, have a pronoun or something, then we're okay with that. I don't care.
That doesn't exist anymore.
That doesn't exist anymore. And now
it's
people have to pick and choose. And if you're in the middle, that just means you have to be okay with something that you're clearly not okay with.
And then I feel even more so than that. You know how the way we vote in America is not for the person who we believe in their policies the most or we think they're the best. No, we vote against the nigga we don't like. That's how the voting system is in our country. Yeah. It's not, I believe in this person so much that, I feel like the Barack era was kind of like a little different because I felt like
that's just because he had a great PR team and he was a charismatic person.
We can.
But I feel like the same thing. I feel like the same thing could be said about Trump though, because MAGA was a lot like was a lot like
Yes.
Yes We Can, and
That's
that,
his
like
Yes
you
We
said,
Can.
from a marketing standpoint. And I don't, I think it started as marketing, but then I think it became like a cult. You know what I mean? Because it did get to the point where it was like, when you had Trump and Kamala, I think you were judging them on two different scales.
Yeah.
People wanted to look at very serious things that she did or didn't do in the past, while looking at him and judging him on the dumbest shit that you could think of. You know what I'm saying? They weren't holding him to the same standard that they were holding her to.
Yeah.
You know, because if she would have had one felony or even a felony accusation.
Oh no, she slept her way to the top.
It was right.
That's what it was. That's disgusting. You know what I'm saying?
The human psyche is so strong at telling real from fake, right? You can see you know why there wasn't a lot of Biden interviews or Kamala interviews? Because people can tell bullshit.
Facts.
Right? Like if I see you maybe in a 2-minute, 3-minute video, I don't know, maybe he's telling the truth, maybe he's not. If I see you with a mic in your face, headphones on your head for an hour-long podcast or something, I'm gonna be able to tell whether or not you're
hot
fucking
mic. The niggas don't know they got a mic and they talking their real hard.
I remember back in what 16 was it when Kamala was first running against Trump, and she went on the Breakfast Club. And she was like, "Oh, who's one of your favorite artists?" And she was like, "Oh, I love Tupac growing up." Like Tupac, and then like somebody went back in time. Tupac like really came out like 3 years after she was like out of college or something. Why are you gonna do that, right?
Because you know that was that. What is it? This pandering. This is pandering at its finest.
You're pandering
Well,
to your
but
both parties do that.
I get that, but you also gotta understand, like when they do these media and tour runs, they know what audience they're playing to and when they're going. So they're not gonna, because Trump would have said the same exact thing, whether or not the timelines crossed, they would have been like, oh yeah, he used to be in music videos, blah blah. So they'd be like, oh yeah, it's true. Right, like it's true that could be somebody he listened to.
Or she pre-screens the questions.
But what does that have to do with how he is now, though? You know what I'm saying? Where it's like if he's a piece of shit now, and then we hang our hat on because we could genuinely say that he liked Tupac. Yeah. It's like, you know, there was slaves that Massa enjoyed more than others. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be honest. Like, it wasn't. That's why somewhere in the house and some wasn't. You feel me?
Like it just attacks, like Kamala specifically, that attacked her credibility so much, right?
Yeah, but people
about
also
this guy
say
with 34 freaking felonies.
But people are also, but it could be true that she actually did like Tupac, and that when she said growing up, that was what she conflicted wrong, not necessarily who her favorite rap artist is.
Or maybe she discovered him later.
It's all perspective.
Yeah, of course.
Because she probably just threw out. No, because I see your point, but I think, you know, it's about. That's what's good about conversations, right? Is that you can start to think of shit.
No, I feel like if it was Trump in the same question, he'd be like, I like Snoop Doggy Dogg or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they know that's the pandering part of it. The politicians.
If we're gonna play both sides of the coin, there's significant videos of him saying, "Oh, I love Diddy." I think there was when he was on Celebrity Apprentice. He was like, "I used to like some girl used to work for Diddy who was on Celebrity Apprentice," and he's like, "I love Diddy. We love Diddy. I've been to many of Diddy's parties." So like. That didn't fucking age well now at all, now did it?
Yo, bro, you're funny as shit.
No.
He's like, I love Little Peep. I love the Little Pimp.
Diddy? I love Diddy.
He didn't even know the Bama's name. He was like, yo, I love Little Pimp, and this is Chef G.
But I think what he
works very hard. I don't know if he works very hard. Does he work very hard?
But we also know that back in the day, Trump was low key on the scene. He was in the videos. He was, you know, he was being referenced in the culture and a lot of hip hop songs. So
grabbing him by the hoo-ha.
You know, so and that
brings
part,
that shit up no more.
That part too. But I mean, and this is, I hate to sound like I'm defending him, but I'm like, the same way we held. Hypocrisy is what you're showing. Yeah, no, I mean, the hypocrisy is in how we react to certain shit, right?
That's not Stormy Daniels' children. I bet he's turning her water off like every fucking week or something.
And I bet you she's on like M King's top 5. Stormy Daniels. She got to be like 100. Shout out to young M King.
I mean, I think he it's just we're living in like the twilight zone.
Yeah, it is. It's like bizarro world money.
And nothing makes sense. And I don't know what the answer is. I think conversation helps though.
No, talking about it for sure. But like, you know, the quickest way to lose a friend is talking politics or religion, right, Manito? So this is difficult. This is something.
But I think that's like.
But like now, I don't think so much.
But I was about to say, I think that's like what's the word with the stuff you say about another country to make your people believe.
Rhetoric?
No.
Damn, I try so hard, Shakira. Yo, shout out to Shakira.
No, like what they tell their own people about another country to make them hate it. What's
propaganda?
Propaganda, yeah. So
You're
it's
welcome.
like, thank you. I feel like it's like propaganda in terms of like how we think about those conversations. I feel like the real reason they don't want you to have conversations like this around a soup cooler is because they hate organization. So what better way to tell people to not speak to each other about important subjects than to make it taboo? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk about religion.
Just blur the line so much where like it's just like, all right, it's cool, whatever.
Right. Don't talk about religion. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about sex. And then you all end up forming your own opinion about these subjects and never getting a like mind because you don't talk about it.
And if you push it to an extent, people will conform and they'll feel like, oh, it's taboo.
Because it's normality. It turns into normality.
And they'll have to do it hush hush to the point. At that point, people don't have all the information because they feel like they shouldn't, and that's how you create like an ill-minded like future.
And I've made this point before where it's like when you go to work, you say especially at work, don't bring up
this water cooler talk you're talking about.
Don't bring up nothing about politics, sex, or religion. But then you look at the clock. You realize that half of your day is spent
talking about politics, sex, and religion.
Well, not talking about it, but at work, in a place where you can't really speak beyond the job at hand. You know what I mean? So, then when do you have these conversations? You know what I mean? How often do you bump into a random person that you're around long enough to say, to
have this type of conversation?
You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't.
Yeah.
So I think that's where, and I know this is true because I remember years ago I was in Herndon. And I was getting like an oil change or something, and I was at like this real small like body shop or mechanic or whatever, and I was the blackest thing in there besides like tires on cars. Like everybody was white, like old white dudes. You know what I'm saying? And I remember while I was waiting, we sparked a political conversation because I think this is when Trump was like first running.
Okay.
And they were all Trump supporters. And then we got to a point where we were exchanging each other's exchanging Instagrams or whatever, and they saw my name was Dallas for president. So that kind of sparked the conversation about me and my aspiration with politics and my opinions on certain things. And although they were Trump supporters, after a brief conversation, they were like, well, if you ever run, let us know, we'll vote for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that came from not their original opinion, because I wouldn't say I swayed their opinion on, I can't remember what we were talking about, but it was enough to where they were willing to look at somebody who was clearly not a Trump supporter and be like, I would like your opinion. So I feel like in that moment, it shows you that it's not always bad to have those. Now, albeit I wasn't at work or anything like that, but a tire shop outside of your comfort zone is the last place you should probably have that conversation as well.
Yeah.
But also the conversation as an intellectual is different, than having the conversation with like a blind lemming that is like, whatever, I don't give a shit about what you're talking about, right? You got to have that conversation with another intellectual for that conversation to make sense to either one of you. You know what I mean?
Right. Or whether you're intellectual or not, I think you have to have a willingness to have a conversation. I feel like it starts there, because a lot of times you would think that because two people look different or they from two different places, that when they open their mouths to each other, you couldn't have a conversation. So I think just being willing, because I tell people this all the time, it's black and brown people, there's not a day that we can operate in the world where we don't like come in contact with a white person. Yeah. But there's millions and millions and millions of white people who can go their whole life and never, ever, ever see a black person and interact with them in a meaningful way. You know what I mean? You go to middle America.
Your neighbor's like 8 miles away.
You know what I'm saying? Where you just, and then the nearest neighbor is, your town is 98% white. You know what I'm saying?
I've never spoken to one of my neighbors, like maybe the one across the street ever.
Right.
So that makes
so
perfect
when you
sense.
go into like rural parts of the country where they never interact with you, it's hard to not give room for them to have whatever stereotypes or stigmas, because all they see is what's on TV.
Yeah, that's all they hear.
And the way we make our money, you get shows like BMF and Power, which I love. Yeah. But if that was what you were seeing of a certain type of person,
50 Cent shit crazy.
Right, but if that's the image you see of certain people, and that's the only time you ever seen them, you're gonna start to think of them.
That's why we get shot at a traffic stop.
Exactly. That's it. Exactly.
I really wish we knew what you guys were talking about in that tire shop, because back in 2016 too, like the election was, I feel like, even a lot more polarizing than it was this year.
And then so the people know you have a background working on these like on political campaigns. I want the people to understand, like, you're just not a dude throwing opinions around. You've actually worked campaigns and such, so your opinion is valid.
So I spent 6 years of my life as a political consultant helping elected officials get elected. I won't say which ones because I'm smoking a J on TV right now.
No, listen, we're not judgy here, but whatever.
But yeah, and I remember, and like as a marketing consultant, exactly getting these people elected, exactly who their demographics are, who they should be pandering to, how they should be pandering to these people, where their current audiences are. I've been studying this for my entire life.
Yeah.
Right? So every 4 years, every 2 years, technically, because we're in DC, we look at state and Congress.
Like we literally live in.
Too. Like the diaspora things start exactly here.
Yeah, you're right, 100%, and they're not even a state.
So
That's another conversation
no
for another day.
taxation without representation.
That's another conversation.
But yeah, and with like 2016, shit was a lot more polarizing than it was now. I feel like this year, for most part, like a lot of people are voting for Trump. People who were voting for Trump were more than okay with telling people that they were voting for Trump. That was not the case in 2016.
But what about like the people that were like Latinos for Trump and like, you know, Black Americans, African Americans for Trump, and they cancel freaking.
Those guys were there in 2016 too. They were a lot braver in 2016.
No, but my thing is, these groups, one of them, they just canceled Black History Month and erased all DEI, correct?
Yeah.
I didn't make that up. This really happened. Right? And then the Latinos for Trump, they got like their uncles and their aunties getting deported right now. You think they voted for that? It's crazy. You know, they got duped. Same way that Biden and Kamala duped us with we're going to give you guys federally legal.
But see,
you know,
they didn't. I don't think they got duped though. I think like
they
we
knew
talked
exactly
about this.
what was gonna happen.
They Uncle Toms. They like I said, Uncle Toms ain't only black folks.
House nigga.
They took
You know
they took a scale and they started weighing the negatives and the positives, and they realized the good he may or may not do completely outweighs the fact that he's definitely going to deport some people.
Yeah.
He never hid that.
Well,
There was never a time where he went on TV and be like, "Oh yeah, the deportations are over."
Well, the other thing too is that
he never did that.
They also know that he doesn't see color in the sense that allegiance takes precedence over that.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't care what you look like for as long as you kiss the ring. So I think people in their mind who support him that look like people who he doesn't support, they don't care about that because they feel excluded because they support him. They're a part of the cult that is MAGA, you know what I'm saying? So like they don't look at it as a race thing. I seen a dude with the thickest fucking Indian accent. Like you could tell he was here on the H-1B visa. You know what I'm saying? Like you could just tell.
He's
the
a
only visa they
but
cool
He's
with.
a
he
software
got
engineer at Amazon. Yeah.
right, but he got a MAGA hat on. You know what I'm saying? And a H-1B visa is a work visa where I think they can come over. Foreigners can come and work for like 3 months at a time before they have to go and touch the soil.
It's very popular among like tech contractors.
Yeah, tech contractors.
Right?
Yeah.
This is why Elon was big on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So he had this thick ass Indian accent, and he was a supporter of Trump, saying that they should get rid of birthright citizenship and like all this shit. Where it's like, yo, bro, like you wouldn't even be able to exist here. You know what I mean? And just on that subject, while we on this subject, I do feel like there's a middle ground with birthright citizenship. We talked about this off camera a few days ago, where I do think if you're 9 months pregnant you come here with no ties to the country, then we can have that conversation about whether or not you both, you know. But if you're here on the H-1B, and I think it's H-1B, pretty sure that's something like that. If you're here on a visa, you work here, you pay taxes here, you meet a woman, you know, a man, whatever, and you have a kid, that kid is from here. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we can argue that.
I think it goes even a little deeper than that. Like, what about the kid whose mom brought them into this country when they were like 1 or 2?
Was it Elion?
And they don't know nothing about this country their whole life. You mean to tell me that kid, you know, doesn't belong here?
No, from a legal standpoint, no.
That kid is not a citizen, and neither is his mother.
No, but
and neither is his mother.
But what the problem is that if you deport this kid who's been here their whole life and doesn't have any knowledge of that other country, when they get there,
that's what
they're doomed.
You have to be able to file for asylum, make your case.
There has to be some sort of
but there is
recourse.
I think that's a part of that middle ground, right? It's like shortening that time it takes to get a green card, 25 years, 30 years. It's crazy.
There's definitely a problem in the system where they don't have enough funds allocated toward that system, where there's people reviewing green card applications or visa applications, to the point where there's people.
Our founding fathers were immigrants. We migrated here.
Yeah, but they also were in a position of extreme power, and I think they were also smarter than a lot of the
They
people
got it
around
on
them.
Google in 1993, right?
My thing
It's
is
2024 right now. Like, it doesn't matter.
Shout out to the Gulf of America. It's official. Google changed that jump.
It's the
for
Gulf
Americans.
of America.
And,
No, so-
everybody else, it shows both.
No,
We
they
had
named
to-
the mountain again,
we
too.
had to
They
take a-
renamed Mount McKinley.
Yeah.
I just got back last night. We had to take a different route on the way to Mexico because there was so much military shit going on right by the Gulf.
Because you know why? Bring in the aliens.
Oh, my God.
No, this is like literally. No, Anito. This is like literally.
They said they're in the water.
We are desensitized. We're good. It's ready.
But
We're
going
ready.
back
Bring
to what
up-
Dallas said just a second ago, though, the reason why like this Trump shit is different and like cancel DI and everything, he's the first president we've had in a very long time, if ever, who's looking at this country solely as a business. Right? What's going to make us money? What isn't going to make us money? And not only is he looking at our country as a business, he's looking at every other fucking country as a business. Oh, you're not going to give me what I want? Fucking tariffs. That's going to hurt
but those
your fucking
tariffs
business.
affect us. The companies here pay the tariff when they go to the
$8.
damn
But
thing.
but like, we deserve to have them though. To an
We
extent.
deserve to have tariffs that our people pay here?
No,
Like,
no,
I'm
no,
so
no.
confused.
I'm talking about the other countries, right? Think about how many Toyotas and Hondas do you see out on the street right now?
A lot.
How many
mean,
Fords
Altimas.
and Chevys do you think are in China right now?
Not any.
None.
They're not buying none
They
of
don't
our
take
shit.
our fucking cars.
You're right.
Right? We take all of their fucking shit, right? Fucking Roombas sell less Roombas because there's a Chinese fucking Roomba over here
I like
that's
Roombas
taking
with
some of
googly
they're taking their fucking market share. Fucking sodas, whatever. Well, not sodas, I guess, but like everything.
Yeah, like
all
a
like
lot.
fucking glasses is what I meant. Fucking machines, whatever. We take these Temu versions, we take these Chinese versions. They take market share away from good American companies that have American workers.
But how do you leverage good shark-like business against a moral compass, right? Because
Shrewd
do we say
businessmanery.
that okay, well, we put everything that's made us great? Because again, you look at any other part of the world, well, I won't say again, but you look at any part of the world, there's nowhere like here in that they do not mix religions, creed. I mean, the whole thing. You look at Gaza and Palestine and Israel and what we'll get to later when we actually start the show, because this is all just
Banter.
Banter here. But when you look at us being the only place that does what we do in terms of diversity, everything he's doing is just like a direct contradiction of that, right? Because when you start to peel back the layers, and like we as black people will say, oh, slavery, blah blah blah, and then you got Asians who will talk about what they did for the railroads, and then you got what happened to the Native Americans. Like all of these stories of us being a stepping stone to what's become America as we know it today exists amongst everybody here for one reason or another, but nowhere else in the world.
Facts.
Right? So it's like it takes, like, I think as people we have this very like matter of fact view of how things should go and how it should run, and we don't give enough credit for the experiment that is America.
Us.
Right?
We're
Because,
a social experiment.
we like you said about the cars, when you look at China, when you look at India, you look at all these other places, what you don't see is a white person, a black, but it's not just them. You don't see black people, you know what I'm saying? You don't see Mexicans in India, you know what I mean? Like, you just don't see that. So it's hard, I think, for people to...
Well, we'd be
Just
happy to have
assimilate.
you guys if you wanted to come. I think it's mostly because, people don't want to go to India as much. And that's fair.
A lot of people there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
They
there.
don't wear
I mean, but
we don't know how to drive.
Oh, there's
a lot
plenty of
people
places
there.
that we love to
Yeah.
vacation, though.
100%.
You'll go vacation
Like
in
the
the
Maldives
Bahamas,
and shit.
but you won't sell coconuts for your living. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
just... But a lot of why you
But
won't do
thank
that is
God there's
because
somebody that
used to.
will. But thank God there's somebody that will, so you can go on vacation in the Maldives.
But I have a question
You know
for
what I
both
mean?
of you, I think, because I think that this is, I think it leads perfectly to this question. Do you think that the view of, before, like, let's talk about, like, our grandparents or whatever,
Right.
the American dream, right? The land of milk and honey, pause, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You think that view is different now? You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be different, right? I don't think that people in other countries look at this country and say, hey, man, I want to go live the American dream. Maybe some of them want to go live the Japanese dream. They want to go live the Arab Emirates dream, right?
No,
Like,
because those
it's
things
still
didn't
appeasing to
exist.
the people, you think?
No, because the American dream was unique. There was no, again, because it goes back to my point, there was no other place that that was promoting that type of lifestyle where it's like, come here and start your family and make your own money and do your, because all these other places are dictatorships and all, it got their own shit going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to answer that, I don't think so. I think the American dream has always been just our dream. Their dreams never extended beyond their borders. That's why you have so much fighting that you have over there. Our dream was always open borders. That's why I say it goes like everything he's doing. Like, yes, to your point, there's great business opportunity and him being a shrewd, like you said, a shrewd businessman. But I think it's like, at what cost? Because people already don't like us for a multitude of reasons. But it's like, do we compound that in the name of saving money that's not going to ever hit our wallets? You know what I'm saying? Or do we maintain our moral compass and continue to be that beacon for what we used to promote?
Yeah. You
know what I mean? And it doesn't get worse than slavery, right? That's what we always say. So it's like, we were able to look past that because of what it was like to put your finger on somebody smaller than you or who didn't look like you, and then now we're just like, oh well, fuck it, he's here. Like, let's save us some money. Tariffs are cool because we'll make. And I'm not saying it's directed at you because there's a lot of people that feel that way. No, because he brought up the point of like, tariffs are not necessarily bad.
Genuinely, right now, from the way I see it, right, interest rates are crazy high, right? Yes. People my age, like, they don't even think about the possibility of buying a house. That is like the farthest thing, even
or
like
recession.
Remote. Yeah, or like it's like the farthest thing possible for them, right? And people, like, when they look at the TV, they watch TV, they don't see a candidate that is gonna make it possible for them to be able to buy a house soon. Definitely not
it's impossible.
Definitely not a Democratic candidate. 100%
no one can afford
not a
to live in this country on minimum wage.
This guy comes out, right, and he's like, this is how I'm going to make money for this country, right? I genuinely believe that he might be able to put us in a position in a year, 2 years, whatever, where interest rates go. We had 2.75% interest rates, right, when Obama was president, or like right before COVID started.
Right.
And I understand, like, COVID was a big deal. The country shut down, all of that, right? And the Democrats did not do a great job at handling that, right? And even in that situation, Trump might have been able to do a better job. He did whatever the fuck he could. But if he's creating these avenues for us to make money, because China is not going to stop sending us cars. Right, they're not going to stop sending.
Yeah, but there's no trickle down economics in that. That's not. We're not making none of that money as individual citizens. They're not even talking. If you look at how many jobs, there's 10,000 jobs at USAID that got lost. I got family members. My cousin, his wife just got laid off, and now all that shit they're saying, they put a pause on it. The lawyers, that's not true. There's no office. The office is gone. Yeah. So it's like they might still have their job on paper, but their job is gone. So when you look at what you're saying, it's like, not only are they making more money, they being us, quote unquote, us, the United States, not only are we not seeing it as citizens, we're also losing jobs. So when the first quarter numbers come through and it says that those 10,000 jobs were lost, and then all of the other UN workers who lost their jobs, and all the contractors that were associated with that company that lost those jobs, what is it going to show for the job numbers? You know what I'm saying? Because nobody's talking about making jobs. Nobody's saying, Trump made this many jobs by bringing manufacturing back to Bob. I know he got something with Nissan he's talking about, whatever. We'll see.
He's bringing factories,
but we as Americans love to harp on, like, who the fuck works in a factory? These niggas that's in the factory right now are either 80 years old or they're a robot. Yeah. So it's like, when we say factories,
you wouldn't know that because they're all secluded. They live in one city, right? There's probably some city in Philadelphia, obviously a bunch of them in Detroit, but wherever these little outskirts cities are, where 60%, 55% of everybody who lives in this city probably works in a factory somewhere, or in the warehouse, or in the billing department, whatever. Yeah. Right? So that's definitely the case, but they bring these jobs into these small areas, so we don't really hear much about them.
No, but you don't think that with all these layoffs or whatever, like the unemployment rate is going to skyrocket?
I definitely think the layoffs are a problem. However, if these people are making them and everything, and like, price or wage cuts wasn't a factor, or maybe them taking mandatory time off for a little while, or extra vacation time, whatever, none of that was a factor, and they had to do it, and they genuinely believe that the country can run without these people in their positions, then that's kind of necessary for us to succeed right now.
But
right?
you think that we should have like a 20-year-old kid like having access to the Treasury Department and such?
No, we're talking about like these kids
The
that
weirdo
Elon
shit
Musk,
that's
the
happening.
the 18 to 24-year-old engineers that Elon Musk is.
To
like,
me, it's less about their age and just the subversion of the process, right? Because I'm not going to sit here and say, because at 24, 25, you can have a master's degree in whatever the fuck you have. But what I'm saying is
Zuckerberg made Facebook at 24.
But what I'm saying is it okay to subvert the system and just say, fuck my background check? Because these kids could be God knows who, they could be agents for all we know. You know what I'm saying? These could be
sell our secrets.
That shit falls. That
make.
Shit falls right in the timeline with China. You look at when TikTok started and how they said that the biggest threat was that some of these kids who go to college and end up being engineers and working in the federal government are also kids who in high school were on TikTok whose information they now have, whether it be their little dick pics, whether it be some fast chicks in their titties to her friends, and then leveraging that against them now as they're 23, 24-year-old adults and say, hey. You want to keep it up, you know what I'm saying? You want to maintain these secrets you have in your phone that we got from TikTok, 5 years ago. You'll do this X, Y, and Z. Now, it sounds dramatic, but it's like, who would have thought we'd see the things that we're seeing now
100%.
with Trump? You know what I'm saying? Other than him saying he'd do exactly
and
what he's
doing what he said that he would do.
But you see what I'm saying? Like these were the concerns. And so when I say fuck the age, I when I came out of college, even though I didn't finish, I still felt like I had knowledge that made me better than someone who didn't have the same 3 years of education I had. So I wouldn't put it past somebody who's that age to do a high level job. But to just let them do it without proving that, without going through a process, without being vetted by, other people, I think that's a problem.
They're going through background checks.
No, it's not. It hasn't been enough time to even do that.
But
it's been weeks.
It takes so long to get government clearance.
I think this guy handpicked those kids, though.
Yeah, pause.
No, we don't know that.
Funny.
That's the problem. We don't know any of that because it's only been a month.
No,
it hasn't even been a month.
It's like circumventing normal procedure.
It hasn't even been a month, bro. There's no way that you get a background check and you like the type of background check you need for that level of clearance to see a American's social security number, job information. Like that shit comes with clearance, bro. Clearance that everyday Americans, and especially in this area, work very hard to get. So that the nepotism in it and just the he's gonna get impeached for sure. Yeah. For sure. He's gonna do so much to a point where Republicans' whole career, their families, everybody's gonna be looking at them to say, bro, like how long before
what's wrong with you?
Before we let how long? Because he's already done things against the Constitution as far as shutting down the federal agency. They have the right to reallocate people to other positions. They do not have the authority. He, as the president, does not have the authority to just shut down
IRS,
a federal agency. That has to come through congressional approval and through a vote. Him doing that in and of itself breaks the law and puts him in a position for impeachment, which already being drafted. Now it getting through the House and the Senate, obviously slim to none. But again, whenever, if ever, we find that moral compass again, I think it'll be very easy for Republicans to say, okay, I can't fuck with this.
I think we have a Republican House and a Republican Senate right now. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right. So
the margin's just not that great. It's like
it's very slim, but.
Yeah, and I hate to cut you guys off, but we got a lot of fucking show, and we've been talking about this for an hour already.
All right,
give or take, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna get back, and we're gonna do a little bit of
sports.
We're gonna talk about the Super Bowl.
We're gonna talk about the Super Bowl.
We'll do that then. It's your boy Jay all day.
It's your boy Days President.
Paper Plane Pete.
And we got Shakira.
Yeah, Shakira over here in the cut.
In the cut, she being studious. We'll be right back, man. It's on the Mic Live Season 2, Episode 8. Keep it locked.
You're
Yo, we back?
We are back, man.
It's your boy Jay all day, no days off.
It's your boy Dallas President, man.
We got our fam with us still.
Paper Plane Pete. We in the building.
We are definitely in the building. Shout out Shakira holding us down. And yo, we just had I really enjoyed that first part of the show, but it took way too long. So we're gonna do this a little faster, okay, gentlemen?
What? This part of the show?
Jay gotta go home and take an ice bath.
Yeah, I gotta take my Metamucil.
Metamucil is crazy.
And my one days or whatever them shits is called, my 53 vitamin pills.
Hey man.
But yo, we can talk football. Like can we do this?
We are going to talk football, man. So last night, Super Bowl 59, man.
Super Bowl licks.
The Eagles stopped the three-peat.
The Eagles chopped the three-peat, man. Philadelphia Eagles delivered a commanding performance, defeating the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22 in Super Bowl 59 at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans on February 9th, 2025. The victory denied the Chiefs a historic three-peat, to your point, and showcased the Eagles' dominant defense and balanced offense. The Eagles' defense was relentless, sacking Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes. Remember, I taught you this yesterday. Patrick Mahomes. So in Puerto Rican speak, Mahomes is a piece of shit. But carry on. I'm sorry. I apologize.
But yeah, they sacked Patrick Mahomes 6 times and forced 3 turnovers.
Crazy.
Josh Sweat led the charge with 2.5 sacks, and Milton Williams' strip sack in the fourth quarter was the exclamation point on a commanding defensive effort. The Eagles' defense held the Chiefs scoreless in the first half and controlled the game from start to finish. The Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts was the game's standout performer, completing 17 of 22 passes for a total of 221 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for 72 yards and a touchdown, earning him Super Bowl MVP title. Devonta Smith was Hurts' primary target, catching 4 passes for 69 yards, including a 46-yard touchdown.
Wow.
The Chiefs, on the other hand, their offense struggled throughout the game, failing to convert on third downs, managing only 2 touchdowns in the final minutes of the game, with Mahomes finishing with 257 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. But the Eagles' defense made it a challenging night for him, as you can tell by his, I won't say lackluster stats, but when you lose, those are really bad stats.
No, bro, people were literally saying, has someone ever been shut? I was
shut out in the first half like that?
No, I listen to news radio because I'm young. So then, either way, they said how, they were doing the most, how, during the game, the Google tech was saying, a lot of people were Googling during the Super Bowl. And so the top one was about, Kendrick's height. But they were all asking, has anyone ever been, skunked in the Super Bowl? And like, what's the highest win? Yeah. This is like questions that people were asking, you know what I mean? Like, so.
Well,
smoked them though.
Cook their boots, man.
Yeah.
And then of course, can't talk about yesterday and not talk about the halftime show, with Kendrick Lamar headlined the halftime show, delivering a powerful performance that included hits like Not Like Us, which many interpreted as a response to the ongoing feud between him and the bad girl herself, Drake.
The bad girl herself. I enjoy that. So,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and then, I would say the Super Bowl commercials, I don't feel like I've heard a single person talk about a single commercial.
I like the Matt Damon and the David Beckham one.
What, the Dunkin' Donuts one?
No, I think it was for Stella.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like a Matt Damon, and then like David Beckham had like a brother, and Matt Damon was a brother, and his name was like Dave Beckham or some shit like that.
No, but they they said that a lot of companies pulled back on Super Bowl because they're just not making enough money this year.
They're not, bro.
But yo, bro, I was counting before I couldn't anymore. I was counting, and like before the game even started, like every commercial break, it was like $30-40 million, like literally in 3 minutes, 50, 60, 70 million dollars. You know what I'm saying? And then also, so a 30-second commercial was $8 million, and a 1 minute commercial was 16. There was like no deal.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah,
there ain't no breaks.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's all the way up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
price all the way up.
But then you're watching these commercials and you're like, 30-second commercial. That nigga broke.
Right.
Oh, broke ass nigga. I don't want your shit.
Yeah.
Show me a 1 minute. Yo, bro, like that's how my mind was. Like, imagine how many other people.
I don't think people think that way though.
Broke nigga, 30 seconds.
The way people think is immediately like, oh shit, you got a Super Bowl commercial, you're popping.
No, we didn't make the cut. We tried. We shot our Super Bowl commercial and we presented it, but we didn't send it on time.
Yeah.
But we would have been able to do it too. With all our sponsors.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought it was.
This man funny as shit, bro.
I always thought it was fucked up.
Let me drive you to New York, bro.
I always thought it was fucked up that the halftime artists didn't get any money for
they
the
never
Super Bowl.
get paid.
And then they always say they always say that but they get exposure as if they're
That's how they got it.
but as if they're on like the Chitlin circuit in on U Street or something.
But they were popping. That's why they were even considered to be on the Super Bowl.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's like I don't need you. Obviously,
what did Kendrick Lamar get paid?
No, they don't get paid to do the Super Bowl. But that's my point. They say you don't get paid because you get the publicity of being on the Super Bowl. But it's like they don't need no publicity. You know what I mean? They already famous. That's why they on the Super Bowl. I ain't never see a lackluster artist or artist you never heard of headline the Super Bowl.
No,
you know what I mean? Like they should definitely get paid something.
Yeah, it's not little.
You know
it's not
I'm leaving here with something. You know
I
what
think
I mean?
he wanted to remind Drake that he won, and that's what he was.
I don't think he had anything to do with getting chosen. I think he was having a hot year. I think you have a much more cultural aware. You got Jay-Z and Plains and all them people that's working on the Apple Music and all them that's working on the halftime show, where I think they're just way more tapped into the culture. But I had this conversation earlier with someone where I just fear that, because I seen a video where it was from the perspective of someone in the crowd watching the show, and you could see that there was a lot of people who, rightfully so, just weren't interested in somebody like Kendrick Lamar performing.
Yeah, like not what they listen to.
And because it's not what they listen to. Yeah. But I feel like the fear is starting to come true in that people on the other side, other meaning people who aren't necessarily in hip hop, are starting to like point out the fact that for the last 6 or 7 years now, the Super Bowl has been very culturally aware. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of black and brown artists.
You think Cole's job is in jeopardy?
No, because I think they're getting good views. I think from a money standpoint, it's doing great. You can't say that Kendrick wasn't deserving of it. But when you're a person who paid $10,000 to watch the game, who grew up in Wisconsin, who just is there to watch football, I think you scratch your head at how Kelly Clarkson or some of these other artists who are like super tied to like the NFL theme song, things like that, where do they have a point to say where's the Jelly Rolls, where are all these people? Because I've been seeing that conversation, and again, I love where it's at right now. This isn't my opinion. I'm just trying to be a voice for other people who might watch our platform and just say that I can. Is there a? And
it's about representation at the end of the day.
Right, right.
Like who's like out there watching, and like should it do something for them compared to the grand scheme of things, the people who are watching for free at home.
And I think perfect example, just to my point, because I've been in a lot of forums doing research for this show tonight, and I've seen that a lot of, I'll say it, a lot of white people, say, I didn't understand what he was saying, like, it looked cool, but I didn't get the symbolism. I didn't understand. Yeah. And it's like, I can't be mad at that, you know what I mean? Because most people, you don't go to watch football to watch, it's not like basketball games where there's performers during halftime and you see music and all that. It's just football.
But what about the other side of that coin? You said that guy from Ohio or whatever. You don't think him spending that 10 bands had, the headliner had a little bit to do with that, or it was just football? Because I think in some instances, the people, they spent that 10 bands, whatever they spent for their ticket, because of the fact that they knew that, he was going to be like, say Drake, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like that was also like an enticement as well, even though you're right, but I give the other side of the coin.
No, for sure. I just think, I think representation matters, and I think that if we want to continue to win and get in what we're deserving of, we have to be careful about that fine line of like having people turn against the idea, having it look like a scale that's like moving more just to one direction. It's like either or. It's giving real either or right now. You know what I'm saying?
But like would you want to watch like Sheryl Crow at halftime?
For me, absolutely not. But I think there's a lot of people who would have.
I don't think.
No, I don't think the people who bought.
I think her Super Bowl presence would be incredible.
No, I mean, I think if you put Dolly Parton at the Super Bowl, I think she'd go ham.
I love
as old as she is. I think she'd go ham. But like I said, I'm not trying to be Uncle Tom here. You know what I'm saying? I love where it's at now. But when you look at Kendrick, Rihanna, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Beyonce, Bruno Mars. You know what I'm saying?
Are those the last 7 in order?
Those are like maybe not in order, but that was definitely the last.
Rock Nation did all of those last 7.
Yeah, the last. Well, don't get me tied up with the 7. I don't know how.
No, like I'm curious to how many shows that Rock. I'm sure Rihanna. It was the Rihanna one.
Rihanna, the Snoop.
No, but wasn't the Snoop like the whole when they did the Dr. Dre whatever, right? That was like what.
Oh, they Usher last year.
Oh yeah,
they sure did.
Yeah.
Like Usher,
Sure
I mean, when I saw Usher performing, I feel more like that was a clear like for the culture kind of placement because he doesn't. It's definitely Usher is definitely not the artist that would cross over into like the Super Bowl audience.
But he got big records. I beg to.
But in all the
like,
wait, hold on. Let me say this though. Let me say this. Going against my own point though, you go to these concerts. It's 90% white people just because of, America. You know what I'm saying? It's just majority rules type shit. So I can't say that there wasn't a huge part of that crowd that was hyped that it was Kendrick. I just think that Taylor Swift could have came out for their song that they had the fucking roof with a fucking but if she would have came out for that track, it would have been a whole different vibe.
No fact, you're right.
They booed her because of the energy and people being tired of the Chiefs and tired of seeing her associated with football. But from a musical perspective, I think it would have made sense. You know what I mean? It would have made sense. But go ahead, Tio.
So, like look at it solely from like a marketing perspective, right?
Right.
I used to when I intern for like an event marketing company, and like one of the biggest metrics that these guys use is it's called BIS, right? Butts in seats. Like what the fuck do they?
Any of that sentence.
That's what. That's
but
what.
your BIS, I got you.
That's
what matters.
Seats. What's gonna get everybody's ass in a fucking seat at the event, no matter what, right?
Yeah, facts.
And
fill the stadium.
And there's like an insane amount of research these guys are doing. They had 8 random fucking people inside of a fucking room asking them, okay, do you think you would want to see this person do the halftime show? Do you think you'd want to see this person do the halftime show? Okay, you want to see these 2 guys? Which one out of the 2 do you want to see more? And they did that a million fucking times before they arrived at Kendrick.
Facts.
Just like they did it a lot last year and the year before and the year before that.
But I mean, at the end of the day, Kendrick has the biggest fucking song of the century, bro.
And people want to see that shit live.
That's what got him there.
No, but I also think that the NFL, I mean, this is what it was. They didn't care about the audience there. They cared about how many more viewers they could get to watch at home. Yeah. Just so they were watching, like you were talking about with Quarantino, watching trends and seeing what's popping and what's not. They were seeing that, I'm sure, and seeing what that song was doing. Because even at the risk of like Drake suing them, like no funny shit, like they said, I don't care. They said the NFL said we'll leave it up to the production company that's playing like the network to
calculate it.
The amount of money they're willing to spend on staying relevant, and like not only obviously in sports they're relevant, they're the fucking NFL, but to stay relevant in the culture is a completely different thing.
And even more than that, it's like they got the bread to cover the case,
and that trumps everything else. Right, I completely agree with you. I think they could have catered more to the people that were actually over there, but to do that.
No, and I'm not saying in this game. I'm saying just being careful in general.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But like, in order to cater to them in that one moment right there, they would have to sacrifice all of the publicity they could have gotten. This will be everything we talk about for the next week. And the Eagles beating the Chiefs is like maybe
handedly,
maybe 40%.
It's also like it, but you don't think there's a little bit of like cultural appropriation there, because it's like you're getting those views not based on your sport or what you're pushing. You're getting those views based on us going to click that link and us giving you those views because that's where the content is coming from. You know what I'm saying? Though, like we're not watching Kendrick's halftime show because we were drawn in by football.
Yeah,
we're watching football because a lot of people were drawn in by the halftime show. Especially when you tie it to a game that was a fucking blowout. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we weren't even watching the game. If I remember back, like I don't remember anybody like.
No, we were like, oh my God, it's about
to
be a skunk.
It was a lot of screaming around the Eagles doing some wild shit, interception.
I remember the Commanders playing the Eagles and the Bills and the Chiefs game. Like there was like real like that was real fucking football from like last time I remember.
The last couple of games of football I got to watch, they were amazing.
And leading up to this is great. And again, I have my own fucking theories where like there was a lot of money on the fucking Chiefs throughout the fucking country.
Facts.
Like, and they could not win. Like they could not win. I think like all of these fucking companies, Prize Picks, like the list goes on, would be out a shitload of fucking money if the fucking Chiefs got this 3-peat.
So you think like Drake and DraftKings unalived themselves yesterday or something?
Bro, well not Drake maybe, but like the guy who works a regular job, makes $70,000 a year, who decided to put $3,000 on the fucking Chiefs because he thought it was a fucking lot.
Sleeping on the couch.
Or I would say not 3 grand, like maybe 30 grand on the Chiefs because he thought it was a fucking
That's
lot,
a bad gambling
right?
problem.
Right? Maybe pulled it off of the credit card, maybe cash advance.
But it's
Cash
also
advances.
any given Sunday, right? Because I feel like people
facts.
say that, but then you also forget that they were only one game apart. It wasn't like there was just. It wasn't like they went in there and got blown out by a scrub. They got the Eagles were the next best team as far as records go. And when you look at what happened, like Hurts put a hurting on them. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes the wheels just fall off, my nigga. Like straight up. Sometimes like the wheels just run out of gas.
Sometimes you get bigger than your britches.
You're feeling yourself too much.
I'll tell you one thing. There's this kid I follow on Instagram. I love this fucking kid. He had like 40 grand, and he's like, I'm gonna take this 40 grand, and every single day I'm gonna ask ChatGPT what I have to do to turn this 40 grand into $1 million, right?
Right.
So a random day, I think it was 2 weeks ago, he was like, yo, they told me to take the entire money. He was up to like 62 grand. And he's like, take all of the money and put it on the Chiefs to beat the Bills. Right?
That's why he should have used DeepSeek.
Right? And then he
was right.
And he hit, right? And I was like, I didn't see the last video. I was like, but I'm 90% sure if he asked ChatGPT on 2 Super Bowl Sunday who to put this fucking money on, it was going to say put it on the fucking Chiefs.
Dude, they asked Pat Riley to use the word three-peat.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't have been, I feel like that's still luck. You know what I mean? Like, it's gambling.
It's any given Sunday, bro. No, it's the truth, man. And like I said, yo, the wheels fall off, the wheels fall off. It is what it is. Like, and then, yo, them boys was hungry, man. The Eagles was hungry. You know what I mean? Like,
they
and
came
then
ready,
they had like and they had like a score to settle. Like, remember, this is the second time they faced them in 3 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they were building to this crescendo. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yeah. Well, let's jump into the the coverage of the halftime because that was something to talk about. Anyway,
the A minor chain.
Let me do my job. All right? Can I mute him? No. Let me do my job. All right. So look, let's dive into the electrifying spectacle that was the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show. Yesterday, it was amazing. Everyone can agree on that. There's like no argument there. So like, picture this: the stage is set at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, and the air is thick with anticipation. The Philadelphia Eagles are dominating the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, remember, they were Googling, like, what's the highest score someone got the brakes beat off of them, you know? So, but, all eyes, everyone, like, again, everyone wanted to see if Kendrick was going to do what he did, right? So then the Compton-born rap maestro, ready to take the world's biggest stage by storm, he killed it. Kendrick kicked off his performance standing on a black Buick GNX. Like, do your history, do your history. The GNX is that car was crazy. It was a nod to the cover of his latest album, GNX. This car isn't just a prop. It's a symbol of his roots and his journey. Representing the car his father drove him home in after his birth. So he was born and he came home in that type of car. So, like, one thing I like to say about Kendrick is he's like, very
he's a storyteller.
No, and he's like he's an intelligent person, man, and like he paints pictures, and like I appreciate that,
Right.
So then it was basically
they also give him a huge budget for everything. So like spend it on something that's gonna matter.
Facts, and then like something symbolic. So represent the car his father drove him home in after his birth.
And again,
the performance.
The halftime show lives forever.
I'm gonna mute him.
You'll always be able to watch it.
I'm gonna mute him, Dallas.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me be great. The performance was a masterclass in storytelling, blending sharp lyricism with potent symbolism. Back to the car, So then Samuel L. Jackson, or Uncle Sam, you know what I'm saying? He introduced the show with the booming salutations. It's your Uncle Sam, and this is the Great American Game, And so his dancers came out dressed in red, white, and blue, and they formed these patterns that they resembled the American flag during this performance of Humble. This imagery was layered with like meaning, you know what I mean? Highlighting the complex relationships between black artistry, patriotism, and resistance. The use of red and blue bandanas also, they were subtle. They were referencing, the Bloods and the Crips, gangs that Kendrick famously united on stage during his The Pop Out concert in 2024. So you guys could do your history on that.
Thanks.
The performance was peppered with political references and Black history, because again, they tried to delete Black History Month.
Facts.
So then Kendrick's all-black dancers performed in a prison yard setting, highlighting the issue of mass incarceration and racial disparities in the justice system. This wasn't just a performance, it was a powerful commentary on the black experience in America. One of the most talked about moments was when Kendrick performed his Grammy Award-winning hit, Not Like Us. And everyone was saying, is he going to do it? Is he not going to do it? He did it, This moment was a bold statement, solidifying Kendrick's dominance in the rap game. And in my opinion, I feel like it was a masterclass in hip-hop, SZA joined Kendrick on stage for their Oscar-nominated hit, All the Stars, the joint from, Wakanda Forever. The chemistry was undeniable. It was amazing. Even Serena popped out, bro. Another Compton native. She made a surprise appearance, adding to the star-studded lineup. It should be noted that it is rumored her and Drake had a thing back in the day, so she might have been getting a little get back too, like that. Women are they're like the FBI, and they petty when they want to be. So, let's keep that in mind. The performance ended with TV off, a fitting conclusion to the show that was as much about the visuals as it was about the music. So what does this mean for the culture? Kendrick's performance was a declaration and a celebration and a reckoning all in one. It showcased the power of hip-hop as a platform for storytelling and activism, bringing his greatest hits and latest his layered imagery to the world's biggest stage. Kendrick reminded us that hip-hop is more than just catchy hooks and viral hits. It's a deep-rooted culture that deserves recognition. You know what I'm saying? In the end, Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance wasn't just a halftime show. It was a cultural moment that will be discussed for years to come. It was a testament to the power of music to inspire, provoke, and unite. And for hip-hop, it was a reminder that the revolution will indeed be televised.
Come on, man.
Stop fucking playing with me.
Come on, man.
Was that journalistic journalism, my brother?
That was something, man.
Yo.
That was something else.
Humbly speaking.
I had no idea I was in the middle of the monologue of
You
your
trying
life.
to fuck it up. I almost
I'm
muted
so
you.
sorry. I almost fucked up the monologue of your life.
Nah,
Bro,
no, you did fuck it
and
up, but it's cool.
Oh my
I'm
God.
just playing.
My brother. Yo,
Nah, that shit
but
was
my
good,
brother's
man.
the one that wrote
And-
the script. That was awesome, bro.
An SNL writer couldn't write that fucking
Nah,
monologue.
yo,
bro.
shout out
You
to
know
my
what I'm saying?
brother Dallas, man.
Bro.
What can I say, bro?
And then, I know how to read.
Yeah, you do know how to read, yo. We just
I'm a reading
and
ass
look,
nigga.
and I see we got a lot of people watching. I just want to remind y'all
Shout
that
out
if
to
you are
everybody.
watching, we do encourage you. Please, 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 if you're watching, give us a call, man. 703-596-5945, and you could be, put in live and on there.
And while
right
we're
now,
being
man.
all encouraging and shit, make sure you guys hit the follow button, like and subscribe. It means a lot to us. And our goal is to hit at least 100 likes on every episode. So if you could do that, it'll be greatly appreciated. And you can
Thanks.
follow us on all the major platforms. So you can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on TikTok. We're available on YouTube. And we also have a Patreon page that we're going to start talking about a little later. Because we
Thanks.
do a lot of crazy shenanigans behind scenes. And we might let you guys be privy to that in some, way, shape, or form. You know what I'm talking about?
So if you want to call in again and give your feedback on the Super Bowl last night and on the halftime show, it's 703-596-5945. That's 703-596-5945.
You see that
Now,
shit scrolling?
Let's jump right in. I'm gonna play a little.
We got
I teased it a few times
little
while you were
montage?
talking, but yeah, I'm gonna play this little kind of recap of the show from last night or from the halftime show.
It was amazing, man. I really enjoyed that halftime show.
So yeah,
to,
we
be
gonna
honest.
turn it over to Kendrick Lamar, man. Let's check it out.
Let's go.
Man, listen, I'ma just talk a little bit right here. You know what I'm saying?
Because I don't want to get in trouble.
You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to get in trouble.
Yeah, but you
just-
niggas seen that shit.
We just showing a little bit. We just gonna show a little bit of the, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. I'm gonna jump over. I'm gonna jump over to something that I don't think will get us cancer. But yeah, man. You said this what?
The cancel culture doesn't exist anymore.
I mean,
in
that's
Trump's
what they
America.
say. But nah, it was definitely
No, it was a great show,
it
bro.
was a dope show last night.
And the jacket was crazy. You know what I'm saying?
The jacket was crazy. We'll
oh, you see, I muted you because you were talking crazy.
Nah, you
I'm
good.
sorry. I interrupted the monologue, the best monologue I've ever heard.
No,
I'm
but
so sorry.
the jacket was amazing.
I thought you were Morgan Freeman for a second.
You and I both agree we didn't like the bootcut jeans without having Nike boots, correct?
I don't appreciate apple bottoms on men.
That's crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, they was talking about his thighs. And
Shout out to
Yeah.
apple bottoms on men.
Whole
That
bunch
was
of
crazy.
poles.
Bottoms on
That was
men is
crazy.
crazy. That's not what T-Pain. That's not what T-Pain died for. Or no, that's
said,
not what T-Pain
That's
was
not
for.
what Nelly died for.
Somebody said the Eagles had the bird food in their hands today. It was yesterday, but I got you. I feel you.
Yo, but what about that whole that like startling revelation about Gilly? Cause that was crazy. You saw it.
Nah, definitely saw a picture of Gilly with a Chiefs hat
Chiefs
on.
out. Like
What you know? I don't know the story behind that.
it could be like AI. Right?
He probably just lost a bet or something.
Nah, I don't think
Maybe.
so.
That
He looked young.
We'll hope that it's
There
something.
was no gray beard
something
hair.
like
Nah, I
that.
feel like
Oh, it
he
was an
might've-
old picture of Gilly.
No, I feel like
Nah, it was definitely an older picture.
we'll talk
Oh,
about it
an
another
old
day.
picture.
But nah, like so back to the halftime show. I mean, I'll say this. I've seen a lot of symbolism. I think Shakira pointed out, because a lot of people were saying
About
the Squid Game shit was kind of what they were alluding to in the beginning of, the elite versus the. But then I
Like
thought
the real
about that.
life
I'm like, yeah, but this nigga Kendrick's a millionaire, a gajillionaire. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like,
Like, I don't know if that's fitting. Then she mentioned something.
And he's very good with his money. Like you don't see Kendrick being flaunty at all.
Isn't his wife a white
like
woman?
high school. No,
She's a white woman
she's
for
not
sure.
white.
She's for sure white.
White?
She's for sure white.
She's white.
Yeah.
I mean,
I say that to say he
Yeah.
probably got good
She
credit.
probably
she
got-
she
she's
got
probably
their
in
money
the
in
stu-
annuities
Yeah,
and
he
shit like
got
that.
good
She's
credit.
an astute
Yeah.
investor.
She got their
He
money in
probably got good
annuities and
credit.
shit like that.
But my point being, she said that the shapes were more a play on the PlayStation controller, and I don't know if
I feel like that's what they did in the Squid Game.
yeah, but they had other shapes. I think that did. This
No,
was
but
like
the
the
initial
square,
card-
triangle, X.
But again,
That
just like an
initial card-
homage
It
to
didn't have X,
the,
right?
No, it had all the PlayStation on the
square.
card. When they gave them the card, it had those
Yeah.
shapes.
But
from the
again, just an
PlayStation.
homage to what's going on in the culture, right? Like that was relevant this year.
Lots of symbolism.
Like, yeah, just
No, but
be-
it did say game over at
be
the end
topical.
and like shit like that. Or
Yeah.
it say game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What I do love is that he added so much imagery that you could sit here and have a
Yeah.
like
conversation
social
like this.
commentary.
Because there were others with like Samuel L. Jackson, which was obviously
Uncle Sam.
and
my
basically basically telling him to play it safe and to do it the way everybody would want you to do
Yeah.
it, and to
Very
not be to not go against the grain too much. And then Kendrick obviously responded by doing the opposite, and kind of going against the grain and going against the
We're
grain.
going left when you go. They tell you to go
Right.
right. type.
Right, and that played out very much so when he
It was
performed
amazing.
Not Like Us,
It was
where he took a very direct jab. Say Drake.
Say Drake.
And that I have that moment on camera. Let's go ahead and
Yo,
play
bro, that was
one more
amazing.
time,
Yo,
because
man, that was.
our reaction here in the room
Bro.
was
He kept teasing it too.
yeah, he kept teasing it.
So the whole time, we're like, this nigga, you ain't finna do it, motherfucker. And then boom.
But yeah, like we caught that genuine.
Even like his necklace, people are like gonna debate the necklace. Like it's so much symbolism. But even before you get into that part of the video, could I just say this?
Go ahead.
With the symbolism, we can't ignore the fact of one of the dancers decided to drop that flag.
Well, I don't know that he was a dancer.
Yeah, he was a part of the dancing staff. I researched this. He was a part of the
but
dancing
see-
staff, and he dropped that to make a social
All right,
commentary.
well, let's talk about that. That wasn't social commentary,
It
right?
is.
Because half the people didn't see it, right? Those who did see it aren't saying like he was right. He was like, you blew your own platform, because I know he worked hard. If he is a dancer, right? You're around enough people, and maybe he felt like he couldn't get his word out, but that's not the place to do it. You know what I mean? There's
It
a
was
time
a
and
big
place.
enough deal for him to get banned for life. So
Well,
you're right. He
but
ruined his.
But
chance.
see, but I think there's two sides to that, right? Because I think you got to be, sympathetic to why he did it, especially because we're in it. This isn't like somebody paying homage to 9/11. That was
you're right.
25 years ago. This is something
we're living in.
right now. So I get that, but I also feel like
Time and place.
there's ways to leverage your platform. You're a dancer for Kendrick Lamar, right? You can get on your Instagram well before you make that statement. Kind of like with Rihanna. She had to do 2 albums that Def Jam wanted her to do before she put out the album that she wanted, right? Same thing, like do the work.
Yeah.
Build your platform
Earn
to
it.
where that you can use your own platform in a way that doesn't bite the hand that feeds you. that doesn't block, because it's not just your blessings you block. If he got a family, if he got a
you shut
wife,
them down.
you know what I'm saying? Now the story is about you for the wrong reasons. We're not looking at your reasoning. We're not saying, oh, you had a free Palestine flag. We're not looking at that. We're looking at you jumped out there, tried to make it about you when it really wasn't. And then you're not making it about them because you're using them almost as a distraction for the wrong reason.
But I don't
You know
think it
what I'm
was
saying?
more about
Like-
free Palestine than like he said something about Sudan.
Oh
and
yeah,
Gaza.
it was a Sudanese
so,
flag.
like,
I'm pretty sure.
It was, but if again,
Same
I gotta
point,
give,
though.
No, but I still got to give the other side of the coin, right?
Go ahead.
This guy and he probably thought that, we were all, all the Swifties were all waiting for the proposal, right?
Right.
I appreciate that moment more than a proposal, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who agree with me, and there's a lot of people who don't. But like he took that shot because maybe he felt he didn't have another chance ever in his life to take that shot, right? So it was like career suicide for him because again he'll never dance in another Super Bowl in his life because he's banned from every NFL event, right?
Well,
so like that's the cost of that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but he or whoever it was, right? It's like again, time and place, because there's a lot of people who turn to the Super Bowl to get away from the political commentary, especially when it's flooding our airwaves the way it is now. There used to be a time where you could turn the TV on, turn the news on, and hear something that, something other than politics. Whereas now, it's all you hear. So on a Sunday, when you with your family, when you're trying to, like a lot of people, that was a moment to just enjoy football. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to downplay his argument or his statement because I don't know what
like
statement he was trying to make. But to my point, I'm no clearer on his point.
But do you feel
know
the
what I'm
same way
saying?
about
Like-
people taking the knee during the national
I
anthem?
have to
that
disagree.
happened.
I gotta disagree with
Go
that,
ahead, go
right? And so
You've agreed with me enough tonight to have.
Yeah.
You're good. You're
I think
allowed
it was-
one.
I think was it a Palestine flag or was
I
it?
think it was Sudan.
It was a
No,
Sudan
it was
flag, right?
Sudan and Gaza.
And so I think this comes from like real frustrated supporters, right? To the point where they're being censored so much right now. And like there's like not much in the media. There's like everything that goes on like social media and stuff. They're pulling it down. Like where actual stories, actual updates about what's going on out there is completely censored. Like nobody fucking knows, right?
So blurred.
You have to go through such a wormhole to really figure out what the fuck is going on.
Facts.
To the point where real supporters now are so frustrated. Imagine if something like this was happening in Puerto Rico or if it was happening in India. I would genuinely be doing whatever I could just to make people aware of what's happening out
Yeah,
there.
but it's like a tree in the forest, right?
And it is. People don't talk about like the concentration camps they have for Muslims in China. That's a real fucking thing. That's a thing right now, right? People don't fucking talk about it. Why? Because China's so fucking popular. We're looking for 10 years in China against Muslims.
You just got canceled. You
Like,
said the
I
wrong word.
got fucking canceled.
You got
This
canceled.
episode might get taken down. Right? Like
No,
that's
but honestly though, I want to ask you guys both. Mainly my question is aimed at Dallas. The same, what you just said. Yes, I understand. But you feel the same way about when people were taking the knee for the flag, right? Because that's social commentary as well.
I mean, yeah, because like I said, there's a time and place. There was no better time than to make a statement when everybody is doing the one thing where everybody's eyes is like that was in a way when you do the national anthem, that's a political statement in and of itself.
But can't the same be said for the stage at the Super Bowl?
No, because he was performing a performance. He wasn't.
He was someone that was paid to work, and then he shouldn't have because I need to understand.
No, I think because he wasn't. That's not what he was there for. If you go to do the national anthem, people are watching for you to show your allegiance or to show your respect and whatnot. So if you do anything other than put your hand across your heart
Take your hat
or salute or take your hat and put it across your chest, like that's a moment to show where you stand in regards to us as a country. Like even in that small, 45-second, 2-minute window, whatever the case may be. But when you're in the middle of a performance, like you're interrupting, You know, there's no like that was a silent protest.
And I venture to
it's
say
not
in
silent
seconds.
when you're on stage in the
At
middle.
least get 10 or 20 of your homies to do it with you. You know,
No, I
You know what I'm
venture to say it was
saying?
only
Like,
seconds that
yeah.
cost basically his career.
You
And
know
that's
what I'm
the
saying?
point that you're making. Like, yo, you
And-
should have done it you could have
and
been like,
yeah.
yo, I was with Kendrick and made like a post and went viral.
You know,
or something.
but
I
for
feel
all
you.
we know, the reason why he did it when
Kendrick
he
wasn't
did,
gonna do that.
but that's what I was gonna say. For all we
Kendrick
know,
wasn't
the
gonna do
reason he did that was because his voice wasn't being heard. But what are you gonna say? Like,
well,
oh yeah, this is a perfect
how,
opportunity.
how many background dancers do you follow on Instagram?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a background dancer. I don't know
Probably
if you guys
maybe a handful.
pause.
Like maybe a handful.
Really?
Yeah.
I personally, I don't think I follow any background dancers.
No,
One
I
of my
follow
friends
Aaliyah
background danced for Mariah.
Janelle. I follow the girl
Rest
that
in
did the sorry video for Justin Bieber. I follow another girl that's with Aaliyah Janelle. I can't remember her name, but she was also a background dancer. And that's not because I'm like I
feel
sought
like you-
them
I feel-
out.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I
pause.
also follow Bow Wow's baby mom. Shout out to Lil Mama.
Lil Mama, shout out to Bow Wow
What's her
baby mama.
name? Jody Chavis. Yeah, I follow her. So you know,
But
I
like,
do
again,
follow
I don't
a
think
few.
these guys have as much of a following as where they feel like their voice would have been heard if they
Nah, these
dropped a
girls
reel or
have
something.
hundreds of thousands of followers.
Facts.
The
they
guy,
have-
the guy who
No,
that
I'm not
dropped
saying
his
him.
voice?
You're that guy.
But
you're doing.
that's on him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Well,
he
again,
could
I think
also
it might be easier to get a follow if you're a
nah. If
female
that
background
nigga
dancer compared to a
reached
male.
out to somebody like us and say, "Yo, I'm one of Kendrick Lamar's background dancers,"
Wait a minute, the whole show about
we
it.
would have been like, "Yo, come do an interview." Like, there's outlets for that. If he would have called like News Nation or one of these online, YouTube
But
news
you would
channels.
say, hey, I'm one of Kendrick Lamar's background dancers. I want to come and talk about Gaza.
No,
Or
Yeah.
talk
I
about
want to
Sudan.
share my views.
I want to share my
Views on Sudan.
No,
You
what
think-
my point-
well, sure, you would, but do you think there's that's gonna get butts in seats?
yeah.
I feel like
because
more so what
there's
Dallas
some-
is saying. He committed.
That's the
careers.
era
He
we
could-
live
yeah,
in now.
he
We live
unalived
in
his
there's
career
something
that
for
moment.
everybody. Like when you look at, I ask people like just to give a little history on on me. Like when we were touring with Asher Roth back in like 2011.
Name drop.
There was to me the
I'm
stories.
teasing.
I'm
I'm
saying the
teasing.
stories about the opposite. It's like a lot of people didn't know who Asher was. Asher
I
was
love
hot.
college.
But see, that was 06,
He's cool as shit though, bro. I follow him.
we went and that was he
like
was
later in his career.
he was a one-hit wonder. You know what I mean? When it comes to the Sleep on the Bread out, like
He's
that
dope
wasn't
too, man.
no. He's a great lyricist.
Such a
You know what I
great
mean?
MC, man.
But he got the Eminem comparisons. He got
Yeah.
there was a lot he was up against. But
in
when
the
we
era
went
he came out, you're
when
right.
we went on that tour, damn, and I'm forgetting my fucking point.
My bad.
What were you saying?
No, you were saying how you wanted to use Asher Roth to make your point. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about how the young man. committed career
That's what I'm saying. That's
suicide
yes. So, at the time, for me as somebody who knew who he was, I was excited to tell people why we were going to Chicago, why we were going to Brooklyn, what we were about to be a part of. But for other people, they were like, who the hell is Asher Roth, right? But when we got to Chicago and we got to these shows, the shows were sold out with an audience that was supportive to him.
That's
so
cool.
while cult like following.
Yes,
so
sir.
where there was the larger market might not have known who he was or heard his music, he still was able to sell out Reggie's Rock Club
Facts.
in the Brooklyn Bowl and some of these other spots with people who follow him.
He
So
had his
because he
demo.
built
He
the
had his demo,
audience,
yeah.
and I feel like that's what Old Boy could have did. Like it didn't have to be the same size audience. Like right now, you couldn't tell me what flag it was or wasn't. We probably gonna go do research in a few after this show and make sure
it was definitely
fact
Gaza
check
and
ourselves. But it's like it fell on deaf ears.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it wasn't even a part of the production we saw on TV. We saw it from the view of an audience member.
And it
So it's
cost him
like
his career.
that's all I'm about to say. So you cost yourself your career. You know what I'm saying? According, allegedly. He was allegedly a dancer, and I'm not questioning your research. I'm just saying, like, I saw other stuff as well, and I looked at his outfit, and it didn't look like, the rest
I
of
like
them.
his fit.
You know what I'm saying?
New
So
York nigga.
I just think, be smarter. You know what I mean? Because a argument made in the dark, you might as well not have opened your mouth.
If he
and you're
gets,
right, he
if
could've
he gets a
parlayed it.
handful of people like who are watching that to be like, oh, what kind of flag is that? Sudan flag? Google what's happening in Sudan.
But yeah,
right now.
that's a one
If
and
he-
done.
No, but
he
he
could
coulda,
have he could have continued to build that audience.
He could have turned that into something else
But
if he
to-
did it the
to
right
go to
way.
the
I
Asher
feel like
Roth
is what you're
story,
saying.
the Asher Roth point, like this is a background dancer, right? His like very linear career. You're not gonna. you're not gonna become like the most popular person in the world as a bag. You're not gonna become Kim Kardashian. You're not gonna become Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez. I don't think he particularly will become.
It's funny you say that because Jennifer Lopez was a fly girl.
I know exactly. She was on In Living Color.
Jamie said it. Hey ho.
But as a male background dancer, I think your career might be significantly more limited.
Nigga married Britney Spears.
And I might get canceled. Oh, Kevin Federline?
No, the dude, the bald-headed dude.
Chris, 2 times. Shout out.
Chris
Christopherson? No way.
Chris something.
No.
Chat if you know who I'm talking about.
No, the guy. What was his name? What was her husband? Brittany. The other guy. The bum nigga that wore the wife beaters.
No, that's Kevin Federline.
No,
it's another dude.
He wasn't a background dancer though, was he?
No, J-Lo married. No, J-Lo married the background.
Casper
dancers,
Gomez or something. His name was
Casper. Yes, Casper. Yeah.
I don't know why.
That tells you how old we are. First of all, that just tells you how old we are.
I shouldn't have known that.
It was Casper.
I'm ashamed of myself. I shouldn't have known that.
He was bald. Yeah, he's exactly who I was.
I'm ashamed of myself.
But like he's not gonna have the following that a female background dancer might have. And if he could get not even a handful of people, a lot of people watch that to just Google what's happening in Sudan. Because I'll be honest with you, I might be ignorant. I don't know what's happening in Sudan right now.
I'm sure people Google it.
So exactly.
If it got seen.
I think
it did.
If he's a male background dancer, maybe he is in college at the time, about to finish, whatever, doesn't care about his career anymore, and this is how he wants to end it. I think he did an amazing good.
That's what I mean. Like at the cost of his career.
No, man.
Not a great way to end it.
I don't think it's a good way to end it because I think
Vlad would have interviewed him.
Because
I think Vlad is going to interview him right now. I think he's going to catch some clout now.
I'm going based on, like I said, what we've seen and how I've seen it reported in the media. Nobody's reporting it as. Well, I can't say nobody. Nobody's too broad. I'm sure there are people. I'm sure there are people who dove into why he said what he said or why he did what he did. But I just think be smarter. And if you are a person with a voice, like let's be honest, we're in the social media era. Your whole interaction when you first walked in was a conversation about leveraging socials and so if he really wanted to get his message out there, again in defense of this young man or whoever, I don't know what he's been doing. I don't know that he doesn't have a TikTok.
Who knows?
Who
knows?
Well, he's been trying, and he's frustrated because it hasn't been working out for him. So
and it's still
this was his last resort.
To me is that's my point.
Because now he can't make the statement ever again.
That's true.
And we can agree to disagree. You know what I mean?
And this is just opinions more than anything, right? So people may not agree with you.
He threw his Hail Mary. He threw his Hail Mary.
No, we can talk about it, and that's what it's about, right?
Yo, Petey, you getting love in the chat too. Somebody said, "Hey, it's Petey." Shout out to Jay Delcid.
Hey, my man.
Yo, you know what? Petey's a cool kid. That's why. He's a cool kid. I feel like we're almost there.
Nah, man.
No, there's more.
No. You good? No, we good, man. We good. I think it was a great show, man. We got a great conversation. I want to take a moment to shout out our special guest, Petey, in the motherfucking building.
You guys having me.
So are you Petey Kerr or Paper Planes Pete? You gotta make a choice now.
Follow me on Instagram. It's Petey Kerr. I will always be Paper Plane Pete. Petey Pessimist. But thank you guys for having me. I love the show. I love what you guys are building here, informing the public and really creating a forum where people can have their voices heard, man. I love it.
Nah, we appreciate that, man.
The quality's going through the roof.
We appreciate that, man. But yeah, we appreciate everybody for watching, man. And before we go, I just want to say that this weekend,
it's up.
February 15th, we have the Growing the Sexy Volume 2, the Valentine's single edition. Where we'll, it's a singles. Now you could come with your partner, but we're gonna put like a special bracelet on you. So
why bring sand to the beach?
Yeah. Oh God. But yeah, if you got a partner, you're more than welcome. But this night is dedicated to
people who didn't have a date the day before.
You know what I'm saying? Valentine's Day is Friday, February 14th. But on Saturday we're gonna bring you a special event. We'll have food. We got Steph B is gonna be in the building serenading the ladies.
We got the MILF Master in the building. The
MILF Master, M King gonna be on the 1s and 2s.
Tino might pull up.
We're in it. Quarantino gonna be in the building with I had a joke in there.
Don't do it.
I was going.
You're better
than this. I was going
But
Jones.
shout out to
Shakira gonna be here. We also are introducing some special ladies. We got some special hosts this weekend that's gonna be wearing something real nice for y'all. We got a group of wonderful hostesses that's gonna be here.
With the mostesses?
Yeah, led by the one and only Lord Lola.
Lolita.
Shakira. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be in here making sure y'all get everything you need, from your refreshments to your song requests to your, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? You know, but it's look, don't touch, don't get fucked up.
Don't get yourself fucked up. We got a whole
Don't
flight
get-
of stairs that is tough to go down
A
here.
real steep flight of steps. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But you know, yeah, it's gonna be a dope vibe.
Great vibe.
Come Saturday.
Grown and Sexy Part 2, correct?
Yes, sir. Valentine's Singles Edition.
I gotta wear a suit.
You gotta put that shit on, man. You gotta put that shit on. But yeah, man.
Yeah, when we
with
did
that,
it,
it's your
Episode
boy-
8.
Episode 8, Season 2.
Books.
It's your boy Dallas President.
It's your boy Jay all day, and we got a guest host.
Baby Plain Pete. Appreciate you guys having
Motherfucking
me.
Petey in the
Congratulations
building.
on the Beyond the Mic pod.
Thank you, my brother. Shout
We
out Chakira,
appreciate that.
and shout out to Tino, Little Brody.
And
Be on the
building.
lookout. We making big moves. Shout out to Eden.
We up out of
Gang.
here. Beyond the Mic Live, you heard?